To the first broadcast of ASCA board meeting. You're going to hear us speak in turn. That's one of our accepted protocols, that we talk in turn. And tonight we're going to start our business with ratifying August email business. And do I have a motion to accept the August email business?
I move to accept to ratify the August email business.
All right, thank you, Ann. Do I have a second?
Linda.
Okay, thank you, Linda. Any discussion on this? All right, so all in favor, please say aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Are there any abstentions? All right, that motion passes. Thank you. Next is our system report from Rachel, but I don't think Rachel is with us. Rachel, are you here?
I just joined, Laura.
Oh, you are perfect in your timing. All right, Rachel, our system report.
Essentially, the system as it is right now, there's no changes in it. The only thing I will notify you guys about, on September 30th, our contract for hosting will be ending with FrogSlayer. And if we do nothing, the contract will pick up again on October 1. So we have asked Ray to search out new providers for hosting. So he has 2 potential providers for that hosting, and we would like to wait until Mr. Jackson finishes his analysis also to be able to bid on it if he is so inclined. So be aware, guys, we're going to have to put forth a motion and get that signed off prior to October 1. So it will come in as an emergency motion when we find a provider. You guys will get 2 to 3 quotes.
All right, are there any questions or comments for Rachel? Ann?
No, I don't have anything.
Cindy?
No.
Dan, are you with us? Jean?
I have a question to Rachel. When you say our hosting, are you talking about the database on their cloud? So we're going to have to pay to have it moved somewhere else. Is that my understanding?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that their contract for hosting on their cloud will end, and that includes all of the maintenance that was in the SOW included in that, will end on September 3rd. So we are not inclined to go back with FrogSlayer again. So that's why we're seeking additional quotes. Yeah.
Okay.
If everyone except the person who's speaking could mute, that would be really good, because we're getting some feedback again. All right, Linda, do you have a question or comment?
No, I'm good.
Liz, do you have a question or a comment?
I do not.
Ken, do you have a question or a comment?
Yeah, weren't we, so I was talking to Ray a couple months ago when we were talking about getting a new server in the office. Can't we support our own stuff in the cloud by using our own server? Isn't there a way to do all that?
Well, we would not want to keep it on our server in the office, Ken. We're much better off to have it hosted out in a cloud environment, because anything can happen to a server, as we've seen fires and floods. So that is not a viable alternative, in my opinion. However, ASCA would like to take on the hosting of it. It's just us determining the best method to remove it from FrogSlayer and get it out to our own retention device, whatever we choose for that to be. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Preston, do you have a question or a comment?
No, I don't.
And Denise, do you have a question or a comment?
No, no. I think that Rachel's right on the right track with that, and I think that sounds good to me. You know, I'm technologically perfect, so. No, yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Thanks.
Okay. Rachel, is that the end of your report?
Yes, ma'am. I just wanted to mainly remind the board about that and let them know that there will be an emergency motion coming for that hosting. So you guys, we will get that to you as soon as we possibly can.
Okay. So number 5 is add the ASCIinfo.org to the website links. We had a member request this, and so we put it on our agenda to be discussed tonight. There is not a director assigned to this, so I guess I'll just start with Ann and see what Ann's comments are. Ann, are you there?
Sorry, I was muted and I totally forgot. I highly recommend doing this. It's an excellent site. It would be very supportive of ASCA. So I'm all for it.
Okay, Cindy, do you have any comments?
I have no problem with it being on the website.
Jan, are you here? All right. Jean, do you have any comments?
As much as it pains me to say this, I'm not sure that I'm okay with it being on our website, because I think before we start putting links to different websites, I think we need to have a policy that says what sort of criteria they're going to have to meet to be on our website. And we need probably a disclaimer put up saying that, we're sending you to an outside website, and the views there are theirs, blah, blah, blah. I kind of think we could get into a position where somebody might approach us with a website that maybe we don't want up there, but yet we've put this website up there, and so we feel an obligation maybe. But I think perhaps if we make a policy as to what sort of links and resources we are going to put on our website, then we could go forward with it.
Okay. Linda?
About Ken.
Well, Ken is out of alphabetical order. I'm sorry. I am an English teacher who didn't alphabetize correctly tonight. So I've got Jean, Linda, Liz, Ken. Don't tell my students. Linda, do you have a comment about it?
I'm okay as long as we have a disclaimer.
Okay. Liz?
I'm okay with the addition as long as we have a disclaimer. Thanks.
Ken? Ken, are you with us? I know Ken's joining us from the airport, and so you may not have good reception right now. Let me go on to Preston, and I will come back to Ken. Preston?
Yeah, it looks like a pretty good website. A lot of good information there. I'm okay with it.
Rachel?
Well, I concur with Jean totally in the fact that we must be careful what we place on our website. And that particular ASCIinfo.org, a lot of that is personal opinion that I personally do not agree with. And so some of it I do, some of it I don't. So we need to ensure that we are very careful before we put links, exactly what Jean said. Thank you. So I'm not in favor of it as it is right now.
Denise?
I agree with Rachel and Jean, because we've had all these changes, pretty recently as far as ASCA and the different things happening and a lot of turmoil. I think that we need to be sure that we have our ducks in a row and we know exactly how we're going to put it on. And like Jean and Rachel, we know what we're going to allow, what we're not going to allow, to have a disclaimer. I think it's a good idea to have it. I just think we need to be sure that we know where we are before it's on there.
All right, and I also agree I think we need a policy, and I think we do need a disclaimer, and not just because of this particular website, but I just think that's good policy, period. Is there anyone that would like to work on this now, or do we want to set this aside as a future goal? Any comments?
Laura, I just have a comment.
Yes, Kala.
One thing that you guys need to consider is where something like this would be located on the website, because we currently don't have any kind of like a recommended links page or anything like that. So it's something to consider is where something like this would be. So a policy could cover that.
Okay, good point.
I'm raising my hand. This is Jean.
Okay, Jean.
There is actually a link that says resources that used to have reading material, videos, blah, blah, blah. And that link is still on the website, but there's nothing under it.
Oh, there's Ken.
Okay.
Oh,
Do you have,
yeah, I'm back.
Do you have an opinion about this? All right. I guess we'll come back to Ken. All right. So there is a place where we could put it if we wanted to start building a library of resource links. We could definitely put that, but that can definitely be part of the policy too. Is there anyone that wants to work on this now, or do you want to put this as a future goal? And on our strategic.
Ken?
Yes, Ken.
Okay, sorry. I don't know what's going on. Hey, so I don't know how far I got before I lost you, but I was just agreeing that we need a policy, the disclaimer, and I would like to know more about a site before I approve it to be connected to ASCA site. I don't know much about this one. So I think we could just put this off possibly for a month or two until we get a little better organized with where we're at going into the nationals.
Okay. Would everyone be okay with this being put on the strategic plan as a future goal, or something that we put on the strategic plan? Anne, would that be okay with you?
I would just say we would agree to take it up like after nationals, and then just plan on having a committee start up after that to work on it. And I would work on it with whoever else wants to.
Okay.
I don't even know if we need it as a strategic plan goal. We just need to say we're going to work on it, and then Kala can remind us that after nationals, it's part of what we're working on.
Okay. Cindy, is that agreeable with you?
Yes.
All right. Jean, is that okay with you?
Yeah, I think what Ann said is great.
Linda?
Yep.
Liz?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Preston?
Okay.
Rachel?
Yes.
And Denise?
Yes, that's good.
Okay. All right. Next thing on the agenda is members attending the monthly board meetings, which is what we are doing tonight. Kala, I'm going to ask you to start this for us, and then I'll have each director comment on what your report. Kala?
I guess I don't really have anything to report. This was added before we kind of decided to do the recording and then posting to the YouTube account. So I guess I'm just going to try that and we'll move forward if that works or if it doesn't.
Hey, Ann, do you have a question or comment?
Nope.
Cindy?
Nope.
Jan, are you with us? All right, Jean?
Nope.
Linda?
I'm good.
Liz?
I'm good.
Ken?
Sounds great. Thank you, Kala, for your work on this.
Preston?
No comment.
Rachel?
Sounds good. And yes, thank you, Kala, for your efforts to help get our meeting out to the members. We appreciate that.
Denise?
Yeah, I agree.
All right. I know, I think it's very exciting. It's been a long time coming, so thank you, Kala. Next is the Red Roof Inn discount. added from the email discussion. I believe that everyone is in agreement that that's good, and we should add them to our La Quinta discount and advertise that. But I need to make sure everyone is good with that. And after discussion, if someone wanted to make a motion, to let Ray go ahead and go forward to sort of finalize that. Ann, do you have a comment or a question?
Nope, I'm for it.
Cindy?
I'm okay with it. How long would it take to get it into to work?
I think it would be I think it would be instantaneous. I think they're ready to go.
Okay. I'm just looking at the deadline for the bulletin board, and I wondered if it would be soon enough to include it in there.
I can ask Ray. If this passes, I can ask Ray about it tomorrow, to how fast he can get it to you, and I can have him notify you.
Okay, thank you.
Jean?
Yeah, I think it's great.
Linda?
I'm good.
Liz?
I think it's great. Let's go for it.
Ken?
The more the merrier.
Preston?
Options are good and lower costs are good.
Rachel?
It's a big positive for ASCA, I believe. Thank you.
And Denise?
I think it's a great idea.
Okay. Would someone like to make a motion then? Or do you want me just to tell Ray to go for it?
Do that. That's fine with me.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine.
We just voted.
Okay, we just told him. Okay. All right. Plans for the new ASCA business office building. Are there any questions or comments about what Ray submitted to us? Ann?
I like the design of the building, and it looks like a great office plan to me. It's very, I've said this already, but it's very similar to an office that my realtor association that I work for built in terms of where the office space was. And that really was a nice office plan where the offices were around the outside, and then the middle had the workroom, and that to me that was, and the kitchen and things like that were kind of built into where it's easy for everybody to get to it. To me, it looks like a great plan. I guess in the big picture, I'm kind of concerned about how much it's all going to cost and all that stuff, but I think we're at a good point to move forward with it, and I like the design.
Cindy?
I like the design. I'd like to watch the effect of the flooding on the cost down there and see where we don't want to build at a time where there's a lot of competition and the bidding is going to be high.
Okay. Jean?
I think it looks great. I'm excited that we might see a new office.
Linda?
I'm good.
Liz?
Yeah, I like the plan too. It looks like it's going to be very efficient. So I'm all for it. Thanks.
Ken?
I'm fine with what they've come up with. I'd say we just keep moving forward.
Preston?
Yeah, it looks good to me too.
Rachel?
I'm with Liz. The floor plan looks so much more efficient than what we have now. And I love it that we have the door opening almost to the side of the building, which will be the front. I think it's a great plan. And I think we need to move forward with checking out the cost. Maybe not building right now, as per Cindy's suggestion. Cost-wise, it may not be a good time, but at least go ahead and see if we can get some estimates. Great job by Ray and the gentleman that put this together.
That's Mike Black, and he's
Right.
an ASCA. Yeah. Denise?
I think that the plan looks fabulous, very similar to Stan's office, which works really well. I had a question, and I've been so consumed with this estate sale for my dad and stepmother's house that I've been not really focused on email. And I may have missed this, but I didn't know what the comparison was to the old office, square footage wise. Do you know how much larger it is?
I believe it's about 2,000 square foot bigger. I think that's what he said, because I think someone else asked. I think the current building is 3,000 square feet. Someone correct me if I'm remembering wrong. And this new one is going to be 5,000 square feet.
Well, that's big. Yeah, that's great. And there was also something earlier about the zoning and the permits and all that stuff. Has that been solved?
I believe he has reached out to the city about the zoning to make sure there's no problems with that. And what he's asking for what he'd like the next step to be, he'd like permission to proceed with getting some estimates on cost for the square foot cost per square foot. But he doesn't not want to move forward until we are ready to move forward with him getting some costs.
Right. No, I think it's a great idea.
So that's where we are. I don't know if we want to roll. Cal, what was the response on adding the gas pipeline to this?
Oh, I mean, most people seem to be in favor of it. Of those that responded were in favor, so.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and roll in the concern about the gas pipeline. It's not gas, I'm sorry, an oil pipeline. My apologies. I talked to Ray about that. We got the letter from Chuck, and it's instructing us to tell them no, they cannot survey the property. Ray doesn't seem to. He says he's going to investigate more with the city, but his understanding is they don't want to buy our property. They just want to run an oil pipeline under it. And I said, well, Ray, do you really want to work in an office building that has an oil pipeline under it? He said, that wouldn't bother me. So, maybe it was a gas pipeline. He said yes, but he didn't think an oil pipeline would be a problem. But anyway, so that's the situation there. Did anyone have any comments about that development yesterday? Ann?
I'm not sure we know enough about it yet. I feel like I don't know if I have a problem with it going on the property, but I hope that we would be reimbursed in some way if they go through the property. And I guess the thing that we want to find out is, when are they going to do this? Because we certainly don't want to build a building and then have them have to, deal with the fact that we put a building there. I mean, I hope that doesn't hurt our plan in any way. So I guess we need to find out more about it.
Okay. Cindy?
I think any step we take on this should go through Chuck because of things with eminent domain, and if it ever comes that we don't have a choice on this matter, for their right of way, we want to make sure we're working with Chuck on this each time.
Jan, are you here? Jean?
No access to the property. That's the easiest thing to say to them.
Linda?
Is there a benefit to ASCA for this? If the answer is no, then no.
Okay. Liz?
I would prefer that we say no to the survey, but just in case that, something else comes up, I think that we should, since they're planning, what they would like to do is survey, my guess is that they already have more or less a pretty good idea in which direction it's going and where in the property will be. So I think that, you know, maybe we should also find out exactly what their plans are in case at some point we're forced into this and it doesn't mess up, you know, the new building and all that. Personally, I mean, I know Ray, like a good Texan, he doesn't care about the pipeline. But, you know, 20 years down the line, that thing starts leaking. I'm not sure that we will be too happy about it. Thanks.
Ken?
Well, I'm with Ann right now. We just don't know enough, and we don't want to give anybody permission to do anything on our property until we know everything. I can understand Chuck and the business he's in, why he would have doubts about a company doing this. From my perspective as a professional firefighter, I certainly know that it's a high-risk adventure to allow somebody to do such thing across your property. So we need a lot more information before we tell anybody, give anybody permission to do anything. So we're not in yet as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, Preston?
Yeah, I agree. We don't have enough information really to make some good choices. And I don't know that we really need to do anything because they will continue to come to us or at us. I was involved in a lot of condemnations when we built power lines. And if this is where they want to build it, they'll probably get it built. There's a good chance they'll get it built. Sometimes it gets moved, relocated, redesigned a little bit, but most of the time it gets built. You know, if you think about all the buildings along the street, on our side of the street where our office is, I can't believe that, and I'm guessing here, but I would have to believe that that pipeline will probably go off of the right-of-way a few feet. I don't think it'll involve trying to go under all the other commercial and residential and every other kind of buildings that are along Highway 21, if that's in fact where they're going to go through. And I got to believe that's probably what they're doing, is running along Highway 21. Again, I'm guessing, but really all of this will play out over a process. And if these guys have the right with eminent domain, I think they probably do, we can slow them, but we're not going to stop them. We just got to figure out what's best for the Australian Shepherd Club and their office, and you know, work our way through that. It'll be a long time before this thing happens.
Rachel?
Exactly what Preston said, but you can rest assured that these guys already have a game plan in mind, or either they would have not delivered that. They probably delivered that to every business owner along that road. So when push comes to shove, if the other business owners down that road agree to it and agree to allow them monetarily to cross that pipeline across their land, eminent domain will come into play, exactly what Preston said. But right now, I don't think we have to be too concerned about it at present.
Okay, Denise?
Yeah, I agree with Preston and Ken and Rachel on this, that you know, we have this high-speed rail thing in California that nobody wants except for the people that aren't involved with it. So, you know, the big urban areas, and once they have a plan in mind, you don't really have any control. Like she said, eminent domain comes in, but I do agree with Preston that in their for their convenience as far as cost and efficiency and safety and everything else, I think they would probably be more apt to run it right along the highway, you know, just off the shoulder or whatever you call it there, instead of under the buildings. But same thing, I think we just can sit and watch it and just make sure we know, because they'll come to us and say, you know, we're going to put this in and this is where we want to put it. And it might behoove us to find out where they think they're going to put it before, you know, go into any concrete plans for building a new office.
All right, so what I'm hearing is we're going to tell Ray no, to tell Ray to say no to the survey, and which is what Chuck advised. And we're also going to have him inquire as to what their plans are, see if he can find out either from the company or from the city where they plan to run that pipeline. Any other comments? Okay. So the next thing on the agenda is introduction to the ASCA Stock Dog Program handout, and that is Rachel. Rachel, you put that as a motion, I believe, and so I don't know if you want to say anything about it or not.
Well, we have had some feedback from some members, and some of the feedback may have been positive. I'll be honest with you, I've been traveling today, and something came in yesterday, and also today, and I have not had time to look at it. We are not, in other words, the motion could be pulled back and reworded if someone provided reason enough to be able to do that. Okay? But I haven't looked at those yet, so we'll just get comments from the board.
Okay, Ann?
Well, just as a first glance at it, what jumped out at me right away was that drive and fetch bring are really not commands. They're more like a definition of something that might change to drive dash, strike out a command used, and to ask the dog. But it's like you could start with ask the dog to move away from the stock, because they would use their own command, whatever that was. But I've never heard anyone use the command drive. And for fetch or bring, usually they're sending them on an outrun, so they're just saying, wait a minute or go by, and then walk up. So there's really no command for that most of the time. So I think those should be changed so that they don't say a command, and they should be reworded in some way. And then just list these as helpful definitions or something so that people can get out of it what they want. There's so much more to it than what's on here, but those are two corrections that I would make. People do use out, they do use that'll do. And balance is another thing that's more of a definition, and it's not a command. So, and it's not worded that way, but those two are. So I would like to see that edited, and maybe they would be better put up higher to where they would be before you say commands used to move the stock. And it would be more like definitions of what a drive is and what a fetch is, as opposed to in the command section. And I'm trying here, overall, I think this is just one of many handouts that might be given out. It's just helpful commands and brief definitions. I think this is just, so I'm trying to be positive about this and offer suggestions without saying scrap the whole thing and being super negative. But I think this should be one of many pieces of education that would come together for this, for introduction to stock. If it was a general introduction to stock, this could be a helpful piece if it was edited. But you know my opinion of the whole program, so I won't talk about that. I'm just trying to be positive suggestions about this particular form.
Thank you, Ann. Cindy?
No comment right now.
Dan, did you come in? Okay. Jean?
No comment.
Linda?
Same as what Ann said.
Liz?
I agree with Ann. If it was to be used, it needs some editing. As you know, what my opinion about all this is, but if this is to be used, I think some editing will help a long way. Thanks.
Ken?
I'm good.
Preston?
Yeah, in looking at this, looks like there's a couple things we could probably fix a little bit, like under interest, dog displays in interest in stock should probably be an interest in stock. But these really aren't commands. These are basics for a dog to do successful work. These are ideas, concepts. Does the dog have interest? Come can be a command. Stop can be a command. Down can be a command. The commands move the dog around the stock or go by, wait a me. Balance is a concept. I don't see where it says anywhere in this that these are commands.
It does
They're
right
inner
there
concept.
on each, Preston, on each definition, it says a command. So under drive, it says a command used. Fetch says a command used, and really it's a concept. It's not a command. So those are my things that I think need edited.
Now, which do you say are commands? What do you say are commands?
Wait a minute, go by, walk up, that, out, that'll do our commands. The rest of them are concepts.
Right. And that's what it doesn't say, that they're all commands, right?
It does, because it lists.
Yeah, it does.
At the top, it says commands to move the dog around the stock, colon. And all those things are listed under there, in my opinion. Maybe
No,
not.
you got that wrong. Commands to move the dog around the stock or go by and wait a me. See the bullet points?
I guess,
Command.
but I also see the word a command after some things that aren't typically commands. That's exactly
Which
what
one?
I said, and I stand by
Which
that. Okay. Just for Rachel, if I can just say one more thing for Rachel, when you do get to read Hillary Hines under her name, there were good comments. They were from Erlon, if that's how you say his name. But if you look at those, I thought he had excellent comments. So, I'm sorry that I interrupted.
Okay. Preston, did you have anything else?
Well, I'm just still confused. Ann is saying that some of these things like balance, it doesn't say command there.
May I interject for a moment? This is Liz.
Well, sure. Go ahead. It's my dime, but y'all go ahead.
Now, Liz, go ahead.
Okay, I was waiting for the go ahead. Yes, as I'm looking at the handout, it says, yeah, commands go by away to me, but then it has other things like balance, walk up, drive, fetch, bring, and though walk up, drive, and fetch, bring has in their definition a command for the dog to walk directly up to stock. And then drive, a command used to ask the dog to move the stock away from the handler. I think this is what Ann is trying to point out, that they're not really commands.
It's in the definition.
When you're working a dog, do you tell it to drive?
Walk on, walk up, drive. Yeah, drive may not be a command. I don't know that I use drive, but maybe some folks do. But that might be the only other one. Fetch, yeah, that's a command, isn't it?
That's not a command.
Oh, it's not?
Okay. Not generally.
Yeah, I use it.
Okay.
I use bring. Bring
so
on.
what I'm hearing is Ann's feedback and Liz's feedback is that perhaps Rachel should look at the definitions for drive and fetch, bring, and see if she wants to leave the word command in there or if she wants to revise that. Is Ann and Liz, am I summarizing your comments acceptably? Okay. Preston,
Yes.
Preston, it was still your turn. Do you have anything else?
No.
Okay. All right. And Denise, comments?
Well, I can understand sort of what Ann is saying, so I think it's a good idea to have Rachel look at that and make sure that it's, we all know what these words mean, and what the concepts are and definitions, but the person that is coming to an introduction to stock, they may have never really seen anything or know anything about it, so it has to be ultimately clear. And it might even be good to have a totally non-dog person read it and interpret it and see what they seem to think. Sometimes it's better to, we can't see the forest for the trees because we know what we're looking at. But so that's just a comment on that. And then at the bottom of the form, there's that sentence that nothing is, it's not used as a certificate, or I don't remember exactly what that sentence is, and I don't have it with me. And it's like at the very bottom of the form. But I do think that should be in bold and very obvious that this is just an interpretation of the instructor, and that it is not being used in any way for any kind of competitive or score or certificate of anything like that.
Okay. All right.
It needs to be more. I think more obvious.
Hey, Laura, this is Rachel.
Rachel, I was just going to say, do you have anything else that you'd like to say?
When I get back on Tuesday morning, I will, between now and then, I will look up all the comments that Calla has so graciously provided to us, go back and wordsmith that document and send it to my second and make sure that we agree on it. And that's what I said. I knew there were some comments that came in from the membership that might be worthy of that form being edited. And, one of the things that was said was, well, there's so much more to working stock. You know what? I can agree with that, because working stock is the more you learn, the less you know, because you will see something every day that you have not seen before. Our intent here is to provide some basic commands and understanding of what that person is going to be expecting to see the trained dog do, and inevitably be able to do, hopefully, with their dog. So this is a very basic document, guys, and we really want to keep it that way. We don't want to have it above the head of anyone that may show up at this intro to stock. Thank you.
Okay, Rachel, so why don't you go ahead and look at those comments and then let us know what you decide to do as far as amendment. All right. The next thing is the first draft of the 2018 National Specialty Premium, and Cindy and Jean are the liaisons for that nationals. And ladies? Do you have anything to say, ladies?
No. What do you want? It's pretty basic. We've got some holes in it. There's going to be holes until some of the things are filled. Does anybody see any obvious errors?
Anne, do you have any comments?
As a first draft, I thought it looked really good. I did not get done looking. Well, yes, I did. I went through the whole thing, but very cursorily. But to me, it looks like a premium, and it looks like it has most things. And I see the yellow stuff that needs to be filled in, but to me, this looks pretty good.
Linda? Okay. Liz?
I think it looks pretty good for a first draft. So I think it looks good. Thanks.
Ken?
I have nothing to add past what I wrote when I first appraised it, when it was first given to us.
Preston?
It looks like a good start.
Rachel?
The stock information on there, is that correct?
Well, it's correct for what I have.
Okay.
We are still, she has still not given me a sheep judge. And I asked, we exchanged emails last night, and she still does not have a sheep judge. She did send me the courses last night late, but I did not have a chance to add those to the document and then have it, send it to Calla for the meeting. But she has sent me, she has at least selected her courses.
Okay. Thank you.
Would you like to know what those courses are?
No, we'll find out. We have plenty of time to find out. I was just curious why we didn't have a sheep judge listed, and if the remaining information was correct regarding stock.
Apparently she's asked someone to be the sheep judge, and this person has not answered her yet, and it's been a lengthy process. So I actually did suggest that perhaps she should invite someone else at this point. But this is a job I have asked Becky to do, and I'm going to trust Becky to do a good job. And so I'm just going to wait and let Becky pick her judge at this point. So,
Got it. Thank you.
let me see if I can find those courses. Let me see if there's any other questions. I'll come back and see if I can find the courses. Denise?
Yeah, first drafts are always pretty rough, but I think everything looks, good at this point.
Here are the courses. Finals, ducks, and sheep. H, B, and C. And finals, cattle. D, B, C. And then nationals, ducks, B. Nationals, sheep, H. And nationals, cattle, D. So there you go. Those are the courses.
Laura,
Yes.
I think I was on mute when I gave my answer, but I would suggest that each committee liaison send the section that pertains to their program to the committees.
Don't have a problem with that. We did that this year. Well, not all, but I sent some, especially agility. So that's fine. I can definitely do that. I don't have a problem with that at all. All right, so Jean and Cindy, do you have anything else?
No, I don't.
Linda, you meant committee chairs, not committee liaisons, right?
Yeah, the liaison send it to the committee chairs.
Okay. Sounds good. So committee liaisons, if you would please forward that to committee chairs. The only thing I would ask is that it not be put out to public. I guess that would be my one caution. It is a first draft, and there's things I'm saying it's not time to publish it to the public. So if you did share it with the committee chairs, I would want that to be confidential.
I don't think that that's ever been a problem in the past that I'm aware of.
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think it's been a problem at all. I just think, you just have to say that. I mean, if you tell me, hey, this is confidential, I'm going to keep it confidential. If I'm not sure, I might share it with someone. But, all right, any other comments? Okay, strategic plan notice to committees. Rachel?
Well, this was in response to our meetings that we had with the committee chairs. We just wanted to make sure that the board had a concise statement to go to the committees in relation to their concern, especially about the goals and the goal setting. And most people commented on my take on it, but I just want to make sure that before we send this out, that we're sending out specifically what the board would like to say to the committees to be added to the strategic plan.
All right. Anne, do you have a comment?
Reading what Rachel has, what we have in the Dropbox real quickly here.
Okay. Does everyone want to open that up?
I have read it before, but I want to just go over it again to see if
It's a good.
Go ahead. Come back to me.
Okay. Cindy?
No comment right now.
Jean?
I'm reading the Dropbox thing again also.
Okay, why don't we all take a minute and look at it?
And because remember, guys, we're already 14 days late. We were supposed to have this out on September 1, but because we were having the meetings with the committee and we wanted to ensure that we're all working in sync with the committees this year, we do not want to go against what we discussed in our meeting, because those meetings were quite beneficial, and we want to make sure that we stay in sync with our committees, on things.
All right. Jean, have you read it? Do you have a comment?
No, my understanding is the same as what's written here, or I like the understanding that's written here.
Okay. Linda?
Mine's still opening.
I'll come back to you, Linda. Liz?
Yes, I like the take that Rachel has here with the yearly goals to establish the priorities, but have the being able to redirect the work depending on membership, committee ideas, etc. Thanks.
Ken?
I read it and I think it's well done. We should just go with it.
Okay. Preston?
Yeah, it looks good to me. No comment.
Denise?
I think it's good, and I think the comments that Rachel made were very good, that we need to be consistent with what we've introduced.
Anne?
I'm good with it. Now that I read it, I'm very good with it.
Okay. Linda?
It just opened. The last one that I read, and it won't let me scroll down. I would like to see that the committee can work on the 3 to 5 issues they have in the year. That they don't have to work on the 3 to 5 and get them done, but they can work on them throughout the year, and their goal is to get them done within the year.
Linda, if you're having trouble opening it, do you want me to read this one to you, and then you can see if this is worded? Because I think this is worded the way you're saying. It says,
Okay.
the committees would set 3 to 5 yearly goals to establish priorities for the committee and work on those until completed. But if issues were brought forward from the membership or the committee, they could redirect their work on the goals and address the issues. Likewise, with the board directive, goal effort would be redirected to answer the directive. Employing this methodology to work through the yearly goals while still supporting membership and committee ideas would provide flexibility to the committees that felt hampered by yearly goals.
Okay. At the end of that first sentence, there's something there that says they're to work on it till they're complete.
Yes, but it says that they can, but the second sentence says, but if issues were brought forward from the membership or the committee, that they could redirect their work and address the issues.
Then why not just say that they've got a year to work on those goals? Because further on down, you say something about yearly goals. It should be a yearly goal. Which means you've got a year to work on it. Let them know that right up front. They don't have to work on it till it's complete. It's a contradictory statement.
I'm looking at it, and maybe I'm just not reading it aloud with the right emphasis, because I think it does state that you have 3 to 5 yearly goals, and that they're to be completed. So yearly goals are to be completed, but that
right.
you can work on other things in addition to those goals. And
then
you can
just make that last phrase say that they've got a year to complete it, that they don't have to work on it until it's complete, even if nothing comes up.
Hey, Linda, this is Rachel. Sorry, Laura, for breaking in. How about if I go back next week and restructure that and then send it back to you guys, and see if I can word it more along the lines that you've of your concern. How about that?
Okay.
That's what I was.
I'll do that next week when I get home, Laura.
All right, thank you, Rachel. All right, that sounds good. All right, the
Hi,
next.
Laura. I'm here. Are you there?
Hey, Jan. Yay.
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
Hey.
Welcome.
It was an effort. I'm sorry I'm late, but it was a little effort. Yeah, I like the idea of them having the goals set out and being able to do other things. So if she rewrites that so Linda likes it, it would be great.
All right. So the next thing is voting at Nationals general membership meeting. And we've added this from our email discussion. There's two different issues, I think. One is admittance to the meeting itself, and then one is voting. And Chuck sent an email about this, and basically I think I'm summarizing him correctly when he was saying that anyone that's on the list can come into the meeting. But at this time, because of the way the bylaws are written, if we do get a quorum and we are going to vote, then you're going to have the card. Let's have comments on those two things. Anne?
I remember reading something that a member suggested that was really good about if they're a voting member and they can vote, they have their membership card and they can vote, give them a certain colored piece of paper. And if they're, and then they can sit. They can either sit in one section or they can sit in with everybody else. But so you give them a colored thing. And when there's a vote, they have to hold up that colored thing, and that's what gets counted. That was a really good idea to me, and it's the only thing I can think of that would allow us to do both things. Let anybody in that's a member, but only let certain people vote. So I feel like that's a suggestion that we might want to do. That's all I have.
Okay. Cindy?
The suggestion Ann was talking about was on the L. I remember reading it also. It was something that I believe it was their union used, and they had said that it worked well for them. So for this year, we can do this, but if we want a bylaw change with some of Chuck's suggestions, then we can put it on the next election ballot.
Okay. Jan?
Came to me quickly. You came to me quickly. I thought the procedure had been members went in first, and when it wasn't a quorum, then they opened it up to the non-members. And that would be simple. Or the color cards are fine. It just needs one more thing to set up.
Hey, Jean?
I'm not sure what we're commenting on. Our procedures are pretty clear, and Chuck spelled it out for us. I do think that we probably should change the bylaws with a motion, and but as far as voting at this general membership meeting, we will need to identify or make a way to determine between people who have their membership cards and people who don't. And I think probably the easiest way is, as that one member suggested, with colored cards.
Okay. All right, Liz?
Yes, I agree. We do have to make sure that people who vote, if we have a quorum, that they have their membership card. So I think that by identifying them from the moment that they go in the door, by giving them some sort of card or something, that would make it a lot easier to identify those who are allowed to vote. Thanks.
Ken?
I think that what we need to do is, I think in the past when the board was trying to be as accommodating to the membership as they could, it was fine because, as Chuck did say, the two sentences are contradictory in that section. So, but now that people are insisting that it be followed to the letter, we'll let it be contradicting and change the bylaws. So, but we do need two colored cards. We need one for the affiliate vote because nobody's ever actually said how a member gets credentials to vote for the affiliate and how we actually count those affiliates. So if we want to keep track of votes and make sure we have the right counts, there should be a special colored card for the person voting for the affiliate and a special colored card for the member voting.
Preston?
Yeah, I go along with Chuck's recommendation, and if colored cards work, let's go ahead and use them.
Rachel?
I don't disagree. The only issue I would see is if it's an affiliate rep, they would also have to be identified as they come in the door as the affiliate rep for that club in order for them to be able to vote for that affiliate. So do we have an idea in this case, if we get a quorum, is there anything in particular that we know that we're going to vote on in this meeting?
That's the next thing I'm going to bring up, Rachel. Let's just finish the comments of this thing.
Okay.
Denise, thank you. I'm sorry. Denise, comment?
Yeah, I think that, in the past, historically, we needed to have a card because there was no accurate up to the minute list. But now, with technology today, there's an up to the second current list of eligible members, and so the card is really not needed. But for this one, I think that the idea of a voting person having a card is a good idea. But and I think that the colored paper is an awesome idea. That's just like when you go to an auction, you raise your card up. It's easily identified. It's very easy, and good job, Ken, bringing up the affiliate rep needing to have a separate color for an affiliate vote. My question is, and I should probably know this, but if the affiliate is not going to be present at the nationals, do they have to send like a proxy vote with a person that that they're having vote for them?
Okay. Well, that kind of leads into the next thing I was going to say.
Oh.
But let me say one more thing about this. I don't have a problem with the the cards and having Ray provide cards, but I'm wondering, why can't they just hold up their membership card? Because Chuck has said they need to have their membership card to vote. So why can't they just hold their membership card up in the air?
Because from a distance from where the board sits, and if you have a quorum, you have several people, a bright colored card is much easier to see than the neutral colored small membership card. They have to have that membership card, I understand, to get the bright colored card, which should be like at least a minimum of a 3x5 card.
Okay.
Well,
All right.
People could be showing their card on their phone, and so then if people are holding up their phone, anybody could hold up the phone in the meeting, even if they don't have any kind of membership, and then you might count that. So if we give them what they have to hold up, it's going to be more clear. That's all.
All right. So I'm going to have Ray prepare some yellow or gold or some bright colored card.
You don't need me to do that. I'll do that.
Bright pink. And we
That's a meeting thing, so I'll do that.
Okay,
yeah,
Kala is going to do.
5 3x5 cards in a specific color.
Okay. And then the thing about the affiliate vote, I really would have to go back and look. Is it only the affiliate rep that can cast the vote? I think so, but I'd want to double check that. I have to
Laura,
be
this
honest
is
and
Ken.
say, yes, Ken, go ahead.
As far as that, there's absolutely no rules regulating how an affiliate votes. It just says they get one vote. So I'm pretty sure that it doesn't have to be the affiliate rep. It really should be that the president of an affiliate credentials a person to go and represent that affiliate, and then they can cast the vote, and the vote would be reported that that affiliate voted in this manner, if that's how we're doing it, or whatever, so everybody knows, and just so that we can count the votes. I was going to say really quickly on the proxy issue, we don't have anything. The proxy system is only in place when the board submits an issue to the membership. It's not in place to allow for voting at a membership meeting. And they're getting ready to close the doors on the plane, so I'll be gone pretty soon.
All right, be safe. That's the next thing I was going to bring up, is the proxy vote. The rules do state very clearly that you only have a proxy vote if you have a clearly stated issue, because the proxy has to have the motion stated on the proxy before you can cast the vote. So I don't see that proxies are going to be in play at this meeting. So I guess we just need to figure out who we're going to allow to vote for an affiliate. And
this is Liz. I have a question.
okay.
If it's something that says it comes up during the meeting, I mean, the affiliate representative, whoever that may be, how they're not going to be able to get the vote from the club. So how are we going to handle that?
That's exactly what I want to hear comments on, because honestly, my opinion is that affiliate votes don't come into play in this sort of circumstance, because you're right, it needs to be, usually members vote and affiliates vote on three things: bylaw changes, election of directors, and anything else put on that ballot that's very clearly stated. And then your affiliate votes, and then and you tell your affiliate rep how you want to vote, and that's how it's decided. So in a situation like this, I don't think affiliate votes should be counted. Anne, what is your thought?
I agree with that.
Cindy?
I have to reread the rule to get a better understanding before I give an opinion.
Jan?
I agree that an affiliate could make an affiliate vote at a meeting that wasn't presented ahead of time. Thanks.
Affiliates are entitled to a vote from what I read. So, and actually, believe it or not, the affiliates also get a membership card. The affiliate rep does.
I don't know that.
All right, Linda?
You skipped me in the last one. So my suggestion as far as the membership coming in, I would put all those that have the card on one side and all those that don't on the other, as well as the card to hold up, just to make it easier to count. But in this case, the affiliates get one vote in any general membership meeting, so I don't see why they shouldn't.
Liz?
Well, I think that if there are items already on the agenda, I mean, a representative can, ask the club, and get a vote on it, because the agenda is I assume, will be printed ahead of time. So they'll have time to do that. But, I still don't know how an affiliate representative could possibly do a vote for his or her club and on an item that just comes up in the meeting. I think that is a little iffy of an issue. Just my opinion.
Ken, are you with us? I think we
Yeah,
lost.
really quickly. No, he didn't. Real quickly. The affiliates count towards a quorum. The affiliates get to vote. You can't keep them from voting. The affiliates need to be credentialed by their president, and anybody that's credentialed by the affiliate's president is authorized to make the decision right then and there for the affiliate. That's just how it's done. Okay. See y'all. Gotta go.
Preston?
Sound like Ken had the right plan.
Okay, Rachel?
Agree with Ken.
All right, Denise?
I agree with Ken. If he's reading it right off of the rules and regs, then that's how it works.
Yep.
Okay. So the only other issue would be, so we're all agreeing that anyone can come in that's on the membership list, but only people that have a card can vote. We are going to give them Cala is going to bring a supply of brightly colored cards to give to people who are eligible to vote. Affiliates can vote, but we did not determine, I guess he said the president or the affiliate rep can determine that person to vote. Am I summarizing all this correctly?
Correct. When they, Laura, this is Denise. When they check in, they should check in as the affiliate for whatever club, whether they're the president or the person that has been the actual affiliate, or someone other member of the club who the club has voted to give that, the vote power to. They should identify themselves at the table as the affiliate reps for whatever club.
Okay. All right, Cala, did you get that?
Yeah, so something that I was thinking about is I can have a list of affiliate clubs when the people come to check in at the front. If they're an affiliate rep, they can check in there. We can cross off their affiliate names. That way that there's no duplicates either. They can get a different colored card.
Okay. The only other thing that I would, I think that needs to be talked about, because this has been, there's differing opinions on the board about this. And I asked Chuck about it, and I don't know if Cala put Chuck's letter in here or not. Yes, it's about, if you open up the Dropbox, and there's a letter from Chuck, and I asked him, I said, I've heard from one director that says that their interpretation of the rules is that the only three things that membership can vote on are bylaw changes, breed standard changes, and election of directors. I have heard someone else say, no, anything that they make a motion on the floor, they can take a vote. So we've heard differing opinions. So I asked Chuck for his opinion, and you see right here that he says that is really unclear. Does everyone see the second paragraph? He says, I believe that the requirement of Washington law that the board manage the affairs of ASCA, and a similar provision in the bylaws mandate that only the board can adopt resolutions that affect the operation of the corporation. But as Linda pointed out, the previous attorney 20 years ago told the board that if membership adopts a provision, the board can rescind it the next day. So I don't know how you guys feel about that. Anne, what is your opinion?
I don't know. I don't have one at the moment.
Cindy?
It would be really tough to figure out all the scenarios that might come up. I think we just have to know what our rules are, and even if they're conflicting, we now know they conflict and we need to straighten them out.
All right, Jan?
Pass. I don't have anything to add.
Jean?
Yeah, I don't really, like Cindy said, there's so many different scenarios that could happen that I don't, I think we just have to see what happens.
Linda?
Fix it and go forward.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Linda. Would you repeat that?
Fix it and go forward.
Fix it and go forward. Okay, Liz?
Yeah, it's unfortunately that is, you know, things are unclear, but I think that we're just going to have to kind of go forward and play it by ear and see what happens and take it from there.
Ken? Ken, we lost Ken. All right, Preston?
I don't know if having an opinion at this point really matters. It really depends on what our rules are, and I guess they're unclear. Like Chuck says, really no guideline. So maybe we just need to, if we have a quorum there, maybe we just need to see what the quorum would want.
Rachel?
Well, this is quite a conundrum. If we are incorporated under the nonprofit Washington state law, and Chuck said that only the board has the right to vote, but yet we're discussing whether members in a membership meeting have a right to vote, there's no direction here for us to be able to take that makes us right. So at the same time, I cannot see that a member would not have the choice to vote if a motion were brought forward. But my question is, who is going to bring the motion forward? Is it legal for the members to bring a motion forward, or is only the board as the body that is the directive of ASCA to bring a motion forward? That was my question. Who is allowed in these meetings to bring a motion forward for vote?
Rachel?
And,
Linda?
Right.
Yes.
Wait. Let's go back. Let's go back to Denise, and I'll come back around and we'll get Linda. Denise?
Well, I've never been to a general membership meeting where somebody on the floor makes a motion. There's been discussion, and then someone on the board has made the motion. So I guess, you know, maybe that's a way to handle it. If the discussion is made and somebody says, well, we want to have a motion, then, you know, have it come from the board. And that way that solves that problem. As far as who votes on what, I don't know. You know, I'm not a professional on these bylaws, but I do think that, like Preston said, I think that we should have, if there's a quorum eligible to vote there, then let's pull these conflicting topics up and vote on them, see what the membership wants. Just my 2 cents.
Calla, what did you want to say something?
So I'm just thinking about this with as far as direction to kind of guide you in this. Why can't membership votes be handled like committee recommendations? Membership votes on it and the board votes to validate it or not.
Well,
or another thing is in the meeting, if this is something that comes up from the membership and they try to make a motion, if it's something where they're making a motion about something the board has voted on, and from what Chuck is saying here, if that's kind of like a thing that's out of order, then I think that's what has to be said. But I'm not sure it is, but I'm just saying that I think that just like any other meeting, if something comes up that's inappropriate, then it gets dealt with by the president. But I guess maybe what we need to do is figure out, I mean, I agree with what Cindy said. There's too many scenarios. We have no idea what people are going to bring up. I think the dock diving thing, didn't that come from your letter to Chuck as a possible idea? But we don't know what people want to bring up.
That
was just a possible scenario,
yeah.
Right?
Yes,
okay.
I just took that off of something that the ASC membership, someone brought up, and I just threw that as a possibility to Chuck.
And we don't know.
Here's why I brought it up, and here's what I want from you guys. I want to feel like we go into this membership meeting, and that we've all agreed on who can vote. We've all agreed on how we're going to handle things so that we have a united front, and then we don't have to sit there and discuss and worry about it. I think that the whole point of membership meeting is to hear membership voices. So I don't have any problem handling that scenario. I just want to make sure that we all agree, because of these ambiguities, of how we want to handle this general membership meeting until we can pass something, at the next election that will clear up some of these ambiguities. So that's all I wanted to. So what I'm hearing is that we're gonna see what the membership has to say, and we're going to deal with it. I will look into this question about who can bring a motion forward. That's just a Robert's Rule of Order thing. Linda, did you have something to add about that?
I just want to say that normally the motion to adjourn comes from the membership, so they made a motion.
Okay, I think that the motions can come from the floor, but I need to double check that, and I can just send you guys an email, and then if someone else wants to look it up too, I think the more eyes on this, the better. But I think we've come up with a way we want to handle it, and I think that we're all in agreement. And yes?
Hey, Laura, this is Rachel.
Yes.
I have one more comment.
Yes, ma'am.
If this is a topic that can be structured in a manner so that everyone can understand it, but who's responsible for what, who can do what in the general membership meeting, and it does not conflict with our incorporation in Washington State, I think that we would be well advised to do that versus one guessing about can we do this and one guessing about can we do that. I don't like conflicting items to be able to come up. We need to have a straight and clear plan for this, whether that's a bylaws vote, whether we get with Chuck and he can guide us on this. We need to get that defined, I believe.
Well, I think that's what we did tonight.
I agree with that too.
I think that's what we did tonight, Rachel. We all agreed on who's going to be allowed to come in. We agreed on who's going to be allowed to vote. We agreed on how we're going to count those votes. We agreed on affiliate votes. And the only thing that's left is who can bring a motion forward. I will tell you this, I'm not going to have a repeat of Waco 2010. And if people get ugly and out of order, I will adjourn the meeting. Anyone want to make a comment on that?
I think that's a great idea. That was a disgusting meeting, and the people who got out of line, both on the board and in the membership, should have been reprimanded and that meeting shut down. That's just my opinion.
Well, I don't think it will be like that. I think it'd be exciting to have a quorum for our 60th anniversary. I think that would be really a wonderful thing. So let's hope for that, and let's hope for good things. So Linda, you are a really good person with the Robert's Rules of Order also. So I'm gonna look at my copy if you wanna look at that too. And let's provide an answer back to the board about this, who can bring the motion forward, just so that we all have an agreement about that too. Any other comments on that? All right, just two more quick things. I'm sorry this has taken so long. Stock Dog Committee Survey. I think it's fine. I think it's a good thing that they're trying to find some data. I like that they're sending out so they can have time to process it and talk about it at nationals. When I saw that it was in the Aussie Times and they were going to do it in September, I thought that was odd because they hadn't brought it to us. And I've only been on the board 2 years, but every time that we've had anything like a brochure or a survey or anything that was coming out of ASCA with ASCA's name on it, it had to come through the board. So I thought maybe tonight that we could go ahead and approve that survey so that they could go ahead and go through with it. Comments, Anne?
I think I would like to approve it.
Cindy?
I've gone through the whole thing and I don't find anything I have a problem with. I would also approve it.
Anne?
I've tried to open it 3 different times and it just stays at the first page. So I don't know what's in there. So I can't really have an opinion. Thank you.
Jean?
Yeah, I'd like to approve it.
Linda?
Approve.
Liz?
I'm all for it. I mean, I don't get to approve it, but I'm all for it. I think it's a good idea.
Ken is gone. Preston?
Yeah, I would approve it.
Rachel?
Could someone give us the gist of the survey really quickly? What questions they're asking, since I haven't seen it either.
Okay, I've got it in front of me. It pretty much asks, have you participated in the last 7 years? When did you attend? What breed? What region you live in? What kind of member are you? Your membership number. I got to fill some things in to go to the next one.
Yeah, you have to fill it in to see the whole thing.
Yeah, you have to fill it in. So in order to give you the next one, I've got to start doing some filling in.
Okay, yeah, don't do that. Okay, I'm good with it. Thank you.
Oh, I already got to the next page.
Okay, what is the next page?
It kind of asks how many titles you have, how many dogs you did, how far you got, which programs you went in, if you've gone in farm trial, which stock in farm trial, what other programs you participate in, what courses you've done, how old were you, did you ever go in junior handler, how far did you go, how many times do you train,
Wow.
how many times do you trial, what other programs do you participate in, how far away is the closest facility, how far do you travel to go to other programs, how likely would you be able to go to participate in the introduction to stock, have you ever run novice, have you ever run FEO, would you be likely to host introduction, list some challenges and concerns that you have with the program. If you're a judge, would you be likely to instruct or judge the intro? Describe the area where you live, city, urban, what livestock do you own, if you own livestock. Do you have the livestock to train your dog? Do you use the dog for your everyday work? Do you have any other herding breeds? Things like that. Thanks, Rachel.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Denise?
Yeah, I would approve that.
Okay. All right. Jean, how are they going to get it out?
Jerry's using some sort of platform.
How's he going to make?
I'm not exactly.
You know, how's he going to make sure he gets out?
Oh, hang on, sorry.
Does he need Heidi to use constant contact?
I honestly don't have the answers to your questions because it never occurred to me to ask him, but I can get those answers for you.
All right. Does anyone want to make a motion?
Laura, this is Rachel. Don't
Yes.
we typically run surveys through Heidi to ensure that they get out cleanly and clearly to the membership? Because other than that, we don't give membership list out to ASCA members, do we?
Clubs can buy them.
Well, I think it was going to be more along the lines of a link was going to be put out and in different places where ASCA members would see that and they could answer it. And like I said, I don't actually know if that's the actual answer, and I can get that for you. I could probably get it tonight, but I don't think it was necessarily going to go to every single member in ASCA.
Okay.
Well, is it only going to go to the ASC members list? Because if that's the case, then there's only a few members on that. Or was it going to go out on the ASCA website or Facebook?
Again, I don't have the answer. I could guess, but I would imagine that it probably will be advertised all sorts of places. But again, that's just a guess, and I can get the answer. And you know, like I said, I can probably have the answer for you tonight, but I don't have it right now.
Thank you.
Okay, so Jean's going to let us know if Jerry needs help as far as constant contact. I think it probably could go on Facebook and the website. We just have to have Heidi do that. Do we have a motion to approve this survey?
This is Ann, and I move that we approve the survey to be sent out, however the Stock Dog Committee plans to send it out. But we approve the survey.
And I'll second.
Okay. All right. Any more discussion? All right. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. The motion carries. And then the last thing is just Ray is ready to start the group IO, and Heidi is ready to launch the website forum as communication tools for ASCA. And I just want to hear your opinions about that. Ray agreed with Jean about that he thinks just the free group IO would be the way to start. And then if it, I'm sorry, I'm getting a message here. Anyway, group IO, any comments about that one? Ann?
No comment.
Cindy?
I'm okay with it.
Jan?
I'm okay with it.
And Jean?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm fine. We're in the midst of moving the DNA committee over right now.
Cool. Have you seen any problems with it?
No, but you know, the day's still young.
Linda?
I'm good.
Liz?
I'm okay with it.
Ken's gone. Preston,
Yeah, I'm okay.
Rachel,
I'm good with it. Thank you.
all right, and Denise?
Yes.
Okay, so can I have a motion to have Ray go ahead and set up a group IO for ASCA to be used as an official communication tool?
This is Rachel. I will make a motion to request that Ray go out and set up Group IO as ASCA's official tool for committee use.
No. It's not for committees, it's for, it's to,
Communication. Sorry.
yeah,
It's to replace the L, correct?
yes.
Right. For ASCA as ASCA's communication tool. I'm sorry. I knew that.
Moderated?
Yes. Isn't that correct, Laura?
Well, let me, thank you. I should have said something about that. Diane Minard has agreed to moderate it, but the way we said that she would moderate it is that if someone posted something that was against the posted rules, that they would receive one warning, and then after that, if they violated it again a second time, that they would be removed from the list permanently.
Laura, this is Rachel. That needs to be clarified in the motion.
Well, why don't, okay.
Yeah, I don't want to have to restate a motion without having all the facts. So I'm gonna leave that to somebody else to do.
Okay. Well, someone tell me what you guys want to do. We don't have to moderate it. I mean, I think it should be moderated.
I guess I have a question. Why does that need to be in the motion? Can't that be just part of the rules for using the list? Isn't the motion just to create the group? The rules would come with that?
I suppose you're right, Cal, and that is, I guess you're right. But I would want to make sure that that's clearly defined to people that were using that. So if that's clearly defined as the rules of using the list, then I will leave that motion stated as we provided.
I mean, I don't know what the rules are specifically going to be. I was just saying that perhaps that will be covered in the rules. So it's just something to consider.
Would that be consistent with your thinking, Laura?
Yes, I just thought we would get it started, get it approved, so they could get it up, and then at one point, Ann and Jean had come up with some suggested rules for the ASCA L, and so I thought we might incorporate those and use Chuck's disclaimer, and when we send out the invitation to people, the rules and the disclaimer would be part of the invitation.
Okay. All right. Then I'm good
I'll
with
second that.
the motion as stated.
All right. So I have a first from Rachel and a second by Jan. Do I have any other discussion?
Yes, how did this go from being a replacement for Yahoo on the committees to a replacement for the L? I missed that step.
I missed a lot.
If you go back to the minutes from last month, what Jean was doing with it and what I was asking Ray to investigate were two separate issues. Jean, would you?
I know, but this conversation started about the committees. We were talking about the DNA starting to use it, and then the motion jumped to the L.
No, that's not right. Well, I brought this up tonight on number 15, and I said that I wanted to talk about using Group IO and and the website forum as new official communication tools for ASCA. And that was to replace the ASCA L. And we started this conversation last month, and I've sent emails out in between, and now tonight I'm asking, Ray is ready and Heidi is ready. So I'm asking that we go ahead and give them the go-ahead to launch these things so we can have our official tools in place. Any other, any other discussion?
Laura, this is Rachel. I believe the confusion came, and I equally was as confused because we were talking about committees moving over to Group IO at the same time. So this is almost like an in unison conversation that we had. But I do know that we were pushing for a replacement for ASCA L, and that we did discuss Group IO as that replacement.
All right, is there any other discussion?
Yeah, I'd like to say something. For what it's worth, I'm not sure why. Okay, there's feedback.
It says here. Let me. Okay, go ahead, Jean. Try again.
What? Nope. Somebody's not muted. There we go. It seems to me that if you're going to start an official list, you should have your procedures and everything lined up before you make a motion to just do this. But that's what I have to add to the discussion.
Okay, well, I would certainly not send out, we would certainly not send out the invitation until we had those two things in place. We have Chuck's disclaimer in place, and I think that you and Ann had some suggested rules because we all discussed them, and it was months ago, though, months and months ago. So I was hoping that you could bring those forward.
Here's my discussion on this. I feel this was a last-minute addition to the agenda, and where I might feel comfortable with a discussion, I don't feel comfortable with a vote.
Okay. Well, why don't we do this? Why don't maybe Ann and Jean, one of you could send the rules?
No.
I'm sorry?
I don't support, I didn't support getting rid of the ASCA L. I don't support moving it. So, you know, I think if this is something that you would like to develop, that that is something that your committee will have to do.
Okay, we can start again. That's fine. So why don't we try this? I will put together Chuck's disclaimer and some rules that have been shared with us previously, and I'll send it out to everyone, and we can put it on the agenda for next month. I just hated to have to wait that long to have something in place when Ray and Heidi are ready to launch, but that's fine. Comments about that? Ann, what do you think about that plan?
I am more in favor of that plan than I am on voting on it tonight.
Okay. Cindy?
Yeah, I don't want to vote on it. I don't feel comfortable with it. Added at the last minute and then not being clear on it.
Okay. Jean? Or Jan. Sorry, Jan?
The whole picture probably be clear. Maybe we can do it at the next meeting.
Okay. Jean?
Yeah, I think putting it off till next month would be fine, so you can flush everything.
Okay. Linda?
I agree. Sorry, unmute.
Liz?
Yeah, I think that's a better plan. Thanks.
Preston?
Yeah, let's wait.
Okay, Rachel?
Yes, ma'am. We won't do anything in haste.
Denise?
Yes, I think waiting's a good idea. Have all our ducks in a row.
So Rachel, if you would withdraw the motion.
I withdraw that motion, Calla, the motion to take Group IO as a replacement for ASCA's communication tool.
Do we have any other questions about either Group IO that I could answer or the website forum?
Do we have any problem with moving some of our Yahoo groups to Group IO though?
Jean's already doing that with the DNA.
What was the question? There's a lot of feedback. Somebody's not muted. Cindy, what was the question?
The question was, do we have any problem with starting some of the Yahoo groups transferring to Group IO? I have no problem with the committee groups doing it, but does anybody else?
I think Laura had already asked that question, and we were all good with it.
Yeah, that's what I thought we were discussing. That's where the confusion came in for me. The changeover from the committees to the L flip there.
Okay, and then one more thing before we adjourn. Jean says she has new information from Jerry.
Yeah, he said, let me find what he told me. He said he was going to use social media, discussion lists, targeted emails to judges. He was expecting a blurb in the Aussie e-news, but that didn't happen this month. He'll do it next month. ASCA website under trending news. So that was how he was going to get the word out about the survey.
Okay, sounds good. All right, anything else? All right, then thanks, guys, and meeting is adjourned at 8:17 Central Time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Good night.
Night, guys.
Good night.